The International Business Times is out with a new report on Hillary Clinton based on State Department data, and it's quite damning. So David Sirota says, quote, "Even by the standards of arms deals between the United States and Saudi Arabia, this one was enormous. A consortium of American defense contractors led by Boeing would deliver $29 billion worth of advanced fighter jets to the United States' oil-rich ally in the Middle East." All right, so he's laying the groundwork right now to explain to you exactly how this deal came about. He continues, "In the years before Hillary Clinton became Secretary of State, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia contributed at least $10 million to the Clinton Foundation. Just 2 months before the deal was finalized, Boeing, the defense contractor that manufactures one of the fighter jets the Saudis were especially keen to acquire, the F-15, contributed $900,000 to the Clinton Foundation, according to a company press release. In all," he says, "governments and corporations involved in the arms deals approved by Clinton's State Department have delivered between $54 million and $141 million to the Clinton Foundation, as well as hundreds of thousands of dollars in payments to the Clinton family, according to Foundation and State Department records." So he goes on to explain that other deals were done with Algeria and Kuwait and the UAE and Oman and Qatar, and other defense contractors were also involved in these deals, and they also contributed to the Clinton Foundation. And the defense contractors who did just that are Boeing, General Electric, Hawker Beechcraft, which is one I've never heard of before, but apparently they're connected to Goldman Sachs, another good group of people to be involved with if you're a politician, Honeywell, Lockheed Martin, and United Technologies. So let's understand fully what this means here and what exactly this ruse is that was going on. You had Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton before, in one of their brief breaks between being in a high position of power and relaxing, you had Saudi Arabia and other governments with horrible histories of repression donating to the Clinton Foundation, and then as soon as they get into power again, lo and behold, they go to bat for their buddies in said repressive countries. Now, not only that, like I also laid out for you here, the defense contractors were also buddy-buddy with the Clintons. The defense contractors would donate a tremendous amount of money to the Clinton Foundation, and then they would go to the top of the priorities list whenever Bill or Hillary had a position of power. So when Hillary Clinton was a senator, we already know the stories because we've covered them before of how she went to bat for big banks, for example, and hedge funds. And now we know that when she was involved in the State Department, she was going to bat for defense contractors, and she was looking out for her buddies in repressive Sharia law states to do their bidding because they were kind enough to give millions of dollars to the Clinton Foundation. Now, this story is very indicative because what it shows you is this is how politics functions at an elite level all around the world. This is what the establishment does. They circle jerk each other all day long. So it doesn't matter what Saudi Arabia is doing to their own population. It doesn't matter that they behead people for sorcery and atheism and witchcraft, and they have officially implemented Sharia law, and a woman can't show a fucking fingernail in public without being chastised by the religious police. None of that is relevant because it's business above all else to true establishment Republicans and establishment Democrats. And I have to say, man, as time goes by, I'm beginning to dislike Hillary Clinton more and more. I mean, she was never in high favorability to begin with, but you have to understand that she represents the quintessential sellout, corrupt American politician. I mean, she understands you have to go along to get along. She understands it's I scratch your back, you scratch mine. She understands that the corporations are really the ones running the show and running the world, and your job is basically to do favors for them, and then they will allow you to continue to stay in power. Again, don't get me wrong. I'm, of course, not saying that Ted Cruz is better or Lindsey Graham is better. Don't be ridiculous. They're 100% sellouts. But I don't want to compromise anymore. I don't want to say, let's pick the 80% sellout because that person is better on the issue of gay marriage or they would help the Supreme Court compared to the 100% sellout. How about we go balls to the wall for people who we know would actually represent us? Somebody like Bernie Sanders. Why wouldn't we do a full court press on this right now? The primary's going on right now. Hillary hasn't even officially launched yet. Bernie Sanders has. Shouldn't we all be talking about him? Shouldn't we all be, getting his ideas and policy proposals out there? Shouldn't that be our main focus? Shouldn't we also focus on Hillary Clinton's career and all of the inner workings and details of her business relationships so we understand who she's really going to represent if she were to become president of the United States? I mean, this stuff is all very important, and when you read a story like this, you have to understand Hillary Clinton is going to be a third term of Bill Clinton, who's a center-right corporatist Democrat. She's going to be a third term of Barack Obama, who's a center-right corporatist Democrat. I don't want to vote for Democrats anymore who are moderate Republicans. We got to go to work, man. We got to go to work, and we got to get the right people in power, because this can't continue. There was an argument I read the other day. We talked about it on the show where somebody said, oh, you have to vote for Hillary Clinton because then she'll appoint somebody to the Supreme Court that would be good on the issue of money in politics. She would appoint somebody to the court that would be better on the issue of money in politics, but hello, it's not like the Supreme Court is going to reverse all of their 3 or 4 decisions that led to the point we're at right now. McCutcheon, Citizens United, Buckley versus Vallejo, Bellotti. They're not going to reverse all those, nor are they hearing a case where they can reverse all those. The only cases they're hearing are ones that could actually make the situation worse. So, yes, the Supreme Court is very important. But what we also need to do is attack the problem in a way that could actually be productive and could work. And the way to attack the problem in a way that can work is by trying to do a constitutional amendment or trying to attack it at a state and local level. That's the way to actually make it work, whether it's through Move to Amend or whether it's through Wolfpack. These are all groups that are fighting to get money out of politics, where we don't need those assholes in Congress and we don't need the president. We tell them what they're going to do. That's the whole idea. We can go around them. We can circumvent them. We can let them know this isn't up to you. This isn't up for debate. This is bipartisan agreement on the left and the right. We want real populists in there, people who are going to represent us. I would love it if we had a system where I can sit down across from a libertarian and have a real policy discussion on the issues. But that's not what's happening in America right now. What's happening in America is the Democrats get in power and say, we are going to represent our donors who are slightly less scary than the Republicans, and they're going to represent their donors who are the worst of the worst. But what you see with somebody like Hillary Clinton, that paradigm doesn't even make sense, because Hillary Clinton isn't just taking money from the slightly less scary special interests. She's also taking money from the worst special interests. The Clinton Foundation taking money from Saudi Arabia. Of course they're going to do Saudi Arabia's bidding. They're taking money from defense contractors. Of course she's going to contribute to the military-industrial complex. She's telling us she's going to. Have you heard any of her comments on Iran? Have you heard any of her comments on Syria? She wants to get more involved in Syria. That's the progressive position? That's the person that we're supposed to vote for? Somebody who wants more war? Get the fuck out of here, man. It's ridiculous. And bottom line is, something's got to give, something's got to change. And it starts with us talking about it and diagnosing the problem correctly. The problem is Hillary Clinton is part of the establishment. And David Schroeder did a fantastic article laying out the details in another case which proves just that.